Hello and welcome. My name is Leah Kaki, and this is my 3D modeling podcast, Ambient 3D Animations. Today we're going to talk about how to set your initial state for a Pyro simulation inside of Cinema 4D. So let's go ahead and get started. Here we are. In order to start off with, I'm just going to drop a platonic into our scene. So we're going to use this as an emitter. So I'm going to right click on this, go down to our simulation tags and select Pyro emitter. And then I can press play and we'll see that this starts emitting a fire. And we also automatically got a Pyro output as soon as we added this into our scene. So here we go. If you'd like to learn anything about the Pyro emitter or the Pyro output, or even the Pyro scene object, I'm going to go ahead and add those videos that go into depth into those subjects into the description below. So I'm going to increase this from 90 frames to 300 so that we can get a little bit of a longer simulation going. Let's say that I pause it right here. And this is actually where I'd like the fire to start and then continue instead of it growing from something very small to something large. So what I could do is I can go into the project settings, that's Control D or Command D on a Mac. And under our simulation tab, you'll see Pyro. So make sure you have Pyro selected. And down here, you'll see this set initial state. And this is also available within the simulation scene object if you're working with that to control your simulation. So the same setting is in both of those. If I click Set Initial State, you'll see a few things happen. The first thing that happens is I get this initial Pyro default at 189 frames. So, and if we click on that, you can see this object is called a volume set object. And you can see the file path where this has been saved. You can see that it has saved the density, temperature, and velocity. And if I start this at the beginning and press play, you'll see that it starts from that state where I pressed set initial state. So that's the way to control how your Pyro looks at the beginning. And that's really helpful because you don't always want to see something grow from something small to something large. Sometimes you just want it to start as a full-grown fire at the beginning of the animation. And that works really well for the wood-burning stove that we've been working on, and this is something you could use for that, but it's useful for many different situations when you're working with Pyro. You may find this helpful. If you decide all of a sudden, hey, I don't really want this to start at this frame, what if I want to choose a different one? What you can do is go into your project settings, so Control D, Command D again, so now we're back here. Where it says set initial state, above this you can see what it's referencing here. So if I click on this little arrow, I can choose to clear it. And then when I started at the beginning, it's just going to start as normal. It's no longer referencing that. Let's say instead of it starting there, I'd like it to start here at this state. I can still click set initial state again, and then it'll create another one. And you can see that now it's here. And if I start this at the beginning and press play, now it's starting at that state that was on the 39th frame. If I were to change my mind, I can go ahead and clear this again. Hopefully I'm going to click on that arrow. Okay, clear. I clicked on the arrow. And then I can drag and drop the old one in here if I change my mind and I want to go back to where I was before. So you can swap in and out different initial states and see what works for your animation. So it gives you some flexibility. You can change your mind and go back to an older reference if you'd like. So I find that pretty helpful. You can clear this, you can choose show in manager, and it'll go directly to where it is in the object manager. You can select the element and it'll automatically select it. So that's what those controls are. So this wraps up today's episode on set initial state for Pyro inside of Cinema 4D. I hope you found this helpful. If you did and you'd like to learn tons more about 3D modeling and Pyro simulations, please hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you'll be notified when the next episode comes out. Thank you so much for taking the time to work on some Pyro simulations with me. See you next time.